what's scarier than a horror movie? It's when the story that inspired it is much worse. Coraline is a fantasy classic, but let's be honest, the origin of this story is pure nightmare fuel. It's not just about a curious girl and an other mother with buttons. It's about grief, madness, and a childhood trauma that marked the author, Neil Gaiman, forever. Today we're going to unearth what really happened in Hampshire, UK. Get your headphones ready because what you're about to hear about the original Coraline will chill you to the bone. Hampshire back then was the kind of place you see in old movies. A small, cold community with few scattered houses. A place where life seemed peaceful, without major scares. Crime was almost zero, which gave a false sense of security. Irony. Kids could camp out without a worry. But as always, perfection is just a facade. And the breaking point of that peace was an isolated house where an old woman lived whom people called a witch and her granddaughter Coraline. This house was a black hole in the community, a place where the smell of earth mixed with something older, something rotten. It was the kind of place you avoided looking at when you passed by. The silence there was heavy, and it was only broken by two things: the laughter and screams of a girl no one ever saw. Caroline's story was a whisper. No one knew the truth, but the rumors were worse than reality. It all started with a fire. The fire consumed the field and reached the old woman's house. When the neighbors rushed to help, they only saw the old woman outside. The girl, she was still inside. From that day on, the mystery became a legend. The strongest rumor was that the girl had lost her face in the flames. Others said the grandmother was so crazy she kept her locked up away from the sunlight as if she were a dirty secret. Caroline's father and mother had died in that fire. The grandmother, in despair, went into the flames to save her newborn granddaughter. She saved her, but the price was high. The trauma turned the old woman into something terrifying. She locked the girl up, and the nickname Evil Mother stuck. No one ever saw Caroline's face, only the silhouette on the swing or the screams and cries coming from inside. The challenge among the kids was just one: to see the girl's face. It was the ultimate trophy of childhood courage. Neil Gaiman, still a child, and his gang took up the challenge. He was a group of curious kids, adrenaline pumping. The idea was to camp near the house, waiting for the old woman to leave for shopping. The old woman was predictable, always leaving at the same time with the same basket. When she disappeared down the road, one of the friends had the idea that would seal their fate. Let's go in. The fear of getting scolded by their parents was great, but curiosity was greater. The house had that smell of old things, of mold, of accumulated dust. It was a smell that clung to clothes, a smell of abandonment. They found small clothes confirming the girl existed, but the house only had 4 rooms. 4 rooms and the mystery. Where was she? The search began, silent, tense. Every creak of the floorboards was a gunshot. They split up, exploring the oppressive silence of the house.
One of the boys found the room, but Caroline should have been about 10 years old, and there was only a crib. Disappointment was imminent, but curiosity won. The boy approached and pulled back the sheet. The scream he let out woke up the neighborhood, a scream of pure horror that tore through the afternoon silence. What was in the crib was a lump of carbonized flesh, the body of the granddaughter the old woman had pulled from the fire. The body was severely damaged, but the worst wasn't the body, it was the detail. The old woman had sewn buttons in place of the eyes, large black buttons, as if she wanted to fill the void of loss, and a series of grotesque stitches simulated a mouth. The body was lifeless, but the old woman tried to keep it there somehow, like a macabre doll. The old woman's madness had turned grief into a sick work of art. The boy's scream was the trigger. The others ran, saw the scene, and panic took over. They fled the house as if the devil himself was chasing them. The screams brought the neighbors. The kids fled and told everything. The old woman was committed to an asylum. The story doesn't end there. The police investigation revealed the true extent of the madness. In the old woman's room, they found hundreds of witchcraft books and detailed information about every child in Hampshire. Filed, note, as if she were cataloging the souls of the town. found. And the worst part, under the floor, they found the remains of a missing child. The old woman was trying to transfer the spirit she thought was in the carbonized flesh to a real child. She believed the granddaughter's spirit was trapped in that flesh and button doll and that it needed a new body. The rag doll, the one some saw on the swing, it was the doll the old woman thought was her granddaughter, waiting to come back to life. The story of Coraline, both the legend and the movie, is a bath of macabre symbols. Let's dive into what each of them really means, because the beldam is not just a witch, she's a concept. The first and most obvious are the buttons for eyes. In the movie, it's the other mother's signature. In the legend, it's the grandmother's desperate act. Eyes are the window to the soul, the way we perceive reality. Sewing buttons there is an act of denial, of voluntary blindness. The grandmother, by doing this to the carbonized body, was saying, I don't want to see that you're gone. I'll keep you here even if I'm blind to reality. The beldam does the same. She offers a perfect world, but demands the child trade real vision for fantasy. It's the exchange of truth for illusion, a pact of blindness. Another heavy symbol is the secret door. In the movie, it's the passage to the other world. In the legend, it can be interpreted as the door to the grandmother's mind, the portal to madness. Think about it. The door was hidden, dusty, and only open to a place that seemed better but was a trap. It's how the mind deals with trauma. It creates a refuge, a fantasy, to escape unbearable pain. The beldam, the other mother, is the personification of this destructive fantasy. She is not the mother Coraline wants. She is the mother Caroline's grandmother tried to be for her granddaughter's lifeless body, a copy, an empty shell that only exists consumed the lives of others. And the well? In the movie, it's where Coraline throws the key. In the legend, the well is the depth of the secret, the abyss where the truth was buried. It's the place where the grandmother tried to hide what really happened, the place where the community threw their fear. The key, which Coraline throws away, is the key to madness. By getting rid of it, she chooses reality, however imperfect, instead of the destructive fantasy. It's an act of exorcism, of liberation from the trauma that haunted the house, and by extension, Neil Gaiman himself.
Crazy, right? That movie you watched is just the tip of the iceberg. The real story is much sicker. And have you heard this version before? Or do you know another urban legend about a cartoon that keeps you up at night? Comment below which mystery we should unravel in the next video. I want to know your opinion on this story. Do you think the beldam is just a witch, or the representation of human madness? Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next mystery. See you next time, and be careful what you watch. The world of cartoons can be much darker than it seems.